All right, everybody, we're going to be talking about major bleeds. This is important because this is one of those interventions that we actually can do and then hopefully save a life here. Now we're actually applying something to somebody else, unless it's you and you got to cut and you got to apply some good not progressive braking, good direct pressure. So stopping major bleeds is our goal. That's the goal, and these are the objectives. This is how we can actually achieve that. Direct pressure, apply a tourniquet, and packing the wound. So when we scroll down this lesson at the MTC Rider Academy, you're going to see prep medic doing direct pressure, applying tourniquet, and packing the wound. So this is kind of a heavy lesson. It's a lot to watch, but it's very important that you do. Okay, so let's go ahead and focus on that. So applying pressure. Now this is like true pressure. We're applying a lot of pressure. Okay, this isn't like I'm just going to grab my hand, I'm bleeding right here, I'm just going to be like this. No, I am like putting my weight on it. I am putting a lot. So if somebody's on the ground and say they have a bleed on their leg, what I'm going to do is I'm literally going to wrap it and put, you know, my 5x9, 4x4s, whatever I have in my rescue pack, which I have both, but put it on there, apply some pressure, but I'm going to put my knee basically on it and put a little bit of weight. I'm not going to dive into it, but I'm going to put some weight on it. I'm going to utilize gravity in that situation, and I'm going to sit there for a while. I'm going to sit there for about 10 minutes, and I'm going to tell the guy, it's like, or whoever the rider is, and be like, hey, this is going to hurt, but this is hopefully stopping that bleed that you got. Now, if I can't do that and I don't want to do that, I'll do a tourniquet. Okay, so once again, I'm going to try to go through this real quick because Prep Medic does a great job explaining all of it, and he's actually showing it to you. So if I don't want to sit there on that person's leg, it's because I got to work over here too. This is when I'm like, I'm going to wrap a tourniquet high and tight up here, cut off the femoral, or not cut it off, but stop flow from the femoral artery. And then same thing up here, high and tight, slow down, or not slow down. We're actually going to stop the flow of the brachial artery. Slowing down is not good. We want to keep going until we can with the windlass, and Prep Medic talks about that too. So using a tourniquet is very important because not only is it more effective than just, you know, applying pressure for the most part, and you can only use it on the extremities, is that it frees you up. Once you apply it, you can move off to something else because it's not usually, oh, I just got a laceration here in a motorcycle crash. They usually have extras and more and different issues. And if you're tied down to one arm, how are you going to do the other arm? How are you going to do this leg, if there was issues? So it does free you up quite a bit. Applying it high and tight on the affected limb. Okay, that's pretty simple to do. There's new stuff coming out. This course will be updated once I take more classes. New stuff is that they actually do want it, you know, 2 inches higher and everything, but, you know, I prefer just, we're in an emergency, let's just do it. We're not going to think too hard about it, and it's worked in the past. But once we get some really good knowledge, I'll go ahead and bring that to you. So, and medical field's always improving. That's the great thing about it. That's what I love about it. Packing the wound. This one's a little bit scarier because you're actually shoving stuff inside somebody's open wound. Whew, that sounds bad. No, so if you have an injury, like a puncture wound or a laceration that's pretty deep, and it's like in junctional spots, so like down in here in the pelvis and the groin area, up here in between the clavicle and your trap, and you could have it like a little bit like right here in your chest. Just it's starting to bleed out, and it's a lot of blood. What we're really doing is getting nice roll gauze, and we're putting pressure and pushing it in there. So what that's doing is that we're creating an internal pressure inside that wound. Okay, so we're trying to, with a tourniquet, we're stopping pressure directly. We're actually tightening around the artery, pressing it against the bone, the brachial artery to the humerus, the femoral artery to the femur, and actually pressing it and closing it down. Applying pressure is the same kind of concept. We're just pushing a ton of pressure to really collapse the veins or arteries. When it comes to packing the wound, what it's doing the same thing, but since we don't have anything to push it against, it's creating this pressure inside the wound to hopefully collapse it. Think of it as kind of like swelling, kind of makes it to where you're let's say you have like a swollen fingers and it's like, wow, it's like I have bad circulation. It's compressing with the external pressure on those blood vessels. Okay, so a little bit too much, but that's how I understand packing the wound. And what we're doing is we're putting a bunch, while pushing a lot of pressure in, pushing a lot of pressure in, pushing a lot of pressure in. We're adding pressure and adding volume inside, so all of a sudden you do have like a little bump, but what it's doing is putting pressure on that blood vessels to hopefully stop or slow down the bleeding, since we can't put a tourniquet and we can't just get in there and like clip it off. Okay, so that's what's happening for compression. They do have Hemostatic agents, so those things that will go in there and actually clot better, those are actually really good. So I highly recommend getting those. But if you don't have that, cloth will work really well. So we're going to jump down. So once again, scroll down. You have the article here, and then we're going to have Prep Medic talking about everything when it comes to stopping major bleeds. Okay, so thank you so much, Prep Medic. I'll see you guys soon.